Hello, welcome back to London on another grey and cold winter's day, but that doesn't stop us. We're still out trying to get some photography done, and in this video I want to show you, as a local, my favourite spots to do some photography. Now if it's your first time here, I'll be showing you spots that I've been using since I started doing photography back in 2020, and if you haven't seen my style before, it's very high contrast, minimal at times, but I've gone through phases where I've tried everything and I've finally found a style that fits. So I'm going to show you all the areas that I use around London and put it into like a route. So I'm going to start in one place and finish at another so you guys can follow along if you're ever here. Well worth doing. Hopefully you find it helpful. Let's get started. So one of the first places that we'll start with in today's video is Spitalfields. I come here quite a bit, and especially when I started out and I was photographing more people than the scene, because there's tons of different ways you can go about it. The market doesn't really change. There's always going to be mirrors, clothing stores and places that you can use to layer your subject. You can put things in the foreground, have the subject in the midground and things in the background and give you some layering. But it's always a good place to warm up as well, because there are tons of different people, tons of different environments. I've actually found a scene that is quite new to me. It's a window that is just basically purely backlit because they've got all these lights on the back wall, which create some quite interesting scenes. And that hasn't been there very long. So every time I come, I find something new. But it's always a good place to start, I feel. And of course, if you are into photographing people, a stone's throw away is Brick Lane, and that is one of the most popular places for people photography. So with this scene, this is also quite cool because it's just got some brush strokes on the window, creates a bit of texture. And if you get someone wearing dark clothing and you shoot at a very tight aperture like f11 or something like that, you'll have the background in focus as well as the foreground, and then you can piece everything together and photograph them as one. So, that building back there, that was the building I was talking about earlier, that's purely backlit. And I imagine it's probably even better in the night time because you've got all of the backlit lights on the back wall, and you can silhouette people, which is exactly what I like to do. So yeah, I like it. Pretty cool. So we're on our way to the Barbican, which is our next major stop, but I thought I'd talk about this place, which is right behind Liverpool Street Station. And a quick word on stations as well. If you can photograph in the Underground or any train station in London, do so. There are incredible lines and shapes. I've made a whole video dedicated to it already, which I'll link in the description. But yeah, this is the Broadgate Centre, and it's got quite nice leading lines and minimalism on it. This statue is also really cool because you can frame someone directly in that archway down there, and as they're passing, you've got your own natural frame being made. You don't have to work hard for it either. And then you've got these stairs. On a sunny day, you can photograph people, some nice long shadows, especially in the winter. It's quite a nice area, and it's en route to our next major stop, so we might as well do it while we're here, right? Right, so we're in the Barbican. Now there's tons of different places in the Barbican. A lot of it's residential, so you just need to be a bit wary of your surroundings. Don't make yourself too loud or obnoxious, but other than that, just use a bit of common sense, basically. The main thing I do when I'm here is the high walk. So if you look out, there's lower ground and there's also these walkways that are elevated. I tend to just walk the high walk in a loop. I start at Moorgate side, which is closest to Liverpool Street, and I walk all the way around and then end back at Moorgate, because they've got this old bit and they've also got the new bit that you'll see in a bit. And there's tons of different things you can do. You've got tons of opportunities for framing through these pillars. But on a sunny day, this place comes alive. You've got so many different shapes that you can create through the staircases that lead up to these high walks and everything like that. Really worthwhile just spending some time here. I never used to photograph this place until one day I was asked to do a workshop and come here. And I come here all the time now, just because of the various different shapes and stuff you can get on a sunny day. Well worth doing. And here we have the wild photographer hunting for his prey. Well, technically, is it fishing? It's fishing. Fishing for his prey. Waiting for that subject at the top of those stairs. And if he weren't there, I'm not going to lie to you, I'd probably be doing the same thing. See what I mean though? There's all these opportunities for cool geometric shapes and shots, and when the sun's out as well, you've got a nice negative space of the sky. Right, another thing with playing with perspective. I mentioned in the Barbican it has a lot of stairs. This is one of them. I like getting low, using the railings as almost like a leading line to the subject. That's how I like doing things. Capturing a subject at the top, negative space, expose for the highlights, crush the shadows. It creates quite a nice little scene. This is the lower ground. We'll be going back on the high walk towards Moorgate again, get into the new area. It'll be good. So this is the start of the new bit of the Barbican. It's a walk around. Again, it's still the high walk, but it's walking back to Moorgate. Now, it's still under construction. There's still more paths being made to different areas, but I like this area purely for the fact of all of these pillars that you can see and the railings, because you can get some really nice framed elements here. It's a lot different to the usual Barbican scene, and if people want to photograph the Barbican for the Barbican's charm, then this is not it. But if you like a bit more minimalism like I do, then this is it, especially if the sun's shining. Like I say, you can really frame people well. Right, so we're approaching Bank. In fact, this is Bank, just on the corner. But on a sunny day, and it has turned out quite sunny, it's one of the best places for a bit of negative space. You get all these shapes on the walls, and because the walls are so, well, one tone, you can really cut out the shadow and the highlights. And as someone walks past, you can frame them quite nicely. And because there's a nice patch of sun, I am shooting into it almost directly to get someone rim lit a little bit. Nice starburst effect going over the building from the sun itself. It'll look quite nice if it's framed right, and if that sun don't go away. Right, here we are, one new change. One of my favourite spots in the city to shoot, and that is all for what is down there, those staircases. Now you could just go down on the bottom floor, on the ground floor, and shoot the stairs, but you don't get as good of a perspective as if you come up to floor one, which is where I'm at. You can go all the way up to the top to get a nice viewpoint of St Paul's, and that is just all the way along there. There is a nice glass panoramic that you can get, but I'm here for some nice shape and stuff like that you do get from One New Change. Now, if you're on the first floor, you can position your camera looking straight down at the stairs and you're waiting for someone to come up, which doesn't take long, surprisingly, and you'll get a quite nice geometric shape with someone walking through as well, which is quite nice. Not the only thing that you can get here either. There is quite a lot of reflective surfaces, as you can see. So even on a grey and gloomy day, you can get some amazing shots here. This is in fact one of my favourite spots all weather, just to come and get something. Even if it's, I'm here every day of the week, I'll always find something new to photograph, which is really nice. So from One New Change, you really have two options. You can take a right from One New Change and go up towards the Barbican again, but because we did that earlier, we're heading past St Paul's, which is where I am now, and heading down towards the Southbank and crossing there at Millennium Bridge. There's a few shot opportunities there as well, which is always good to get. Sun is always good. It's gone away now. So I'll show you the opportunities that you could get, but your light may vary. So this is actually a shot of St Paul's that I've discovered quite recently, because up until very recently, this side of the staircase was blocked off. But you can get down low and use the bridge as a bit of a frame, and you can capture people walking. And if it's sunny, early afternoon, the sun will be right by the Tate on the other side, so you can get some nice starburst effects as well. But there's plenty of options on the north side of the river for the Millennium Bridge. You can go down and shoot along the water and shoot up these stairs rather than down them, and you can get tons of different options as well. This is just my newest obsession. I love this when it's sunny. And then you've got tons, and you'll see more things when we cross the river right now. So underneath Millennium Bridge on the Southbank side now, you've got this, and as people walk over it, you've got people that create quite a cool little bit of texture there. So there's Millennium Bridge and the Tate. The Tate's a great option if you want to get out the cold for a bit and you're walking along this route. It's got some great things in there. Entry's free, just like most museums in the UK anyway. You can go in there, get some great shots. What we're going to do now is head towards Embankment and the London Eye, keep walking round, and then we'll cross over and we'll be in Soho. So, next up, the National Theatre. We're en route through the Southbank, so you physically cannot miss this place. But it's great. The brutalistic architecture and, again, common theme, it's even better in the sun. So this whole area in the afternoon is lit up perfectly, so you can backlight subjects as they're walking through. But it's not just that. There's these staircases and everything like that. Basically, tons of different frames, brutalistic architecture, very similar to the Barbican in that sort of respect. But you can just capture so many different things here. And I have, whether it be at the start of my photography journey, where I was capturing people, or now, where I'm capturing scenes and shapes and shadow. It's a good one. And like I say, you physically can't miss it. The next thing you'll see after the National Theatre is the Southbank Centre. I usually come up those yellow stairs there, which is right by the skate park. If you did want to photograph the skate park for action shots and people, it's just there. Look for these yellow stairs. But there's tons of options here now. You've got art installations that always crop up. You've got lights. You've got all sorts that you can photograph. Stairs. You can go in the centre as well and photograph in there. It's quite a good place. This is probably the last place that I go to on the South Bank, unless I go up to the London Eye and back on myself, because I walk over Embankment Bridge, which is just here. And then you're back in the city again and you're photographing Soho. So tons of different options here. I can't see much at the minute, but I've definitely shot quite a bit here in the past. Right, Chinatown is another great place for people watching. I only tend to really come here for one reason, and that is the misty windows that you get at some of these shops. There's a few of them, because they cook in front of the windows 9 times out of 10, and it really does make for a cool scene. Again, textures on the glass and everything like that, it really can create some really cool pictures. And that as well, you've got like the different textures of people in the outside eating areas, and again, different subjects as well. I've actually took someone's portrait here quite recently when I was testing out the Leica MEV1, and that was completely out of the blue. So you get tons of different things here. I always walk through it. Very little chance of me getting images other than the misty windows, but occasionally this place surprises me. Beijing dumpling is usually my go-to for misty windows. As you can see, mist, people cooking right in front of you, it can create some really cool shots. It is the busiest I have ever seen it though. The queue's crazy. But always worth stopping off to get an image. Another great spot, literally just behind Chinatown in Soho, is the Curzon Cinema. It's just proper old vibes. Like, it looks just like an old classic cinema, and I love it. The light's great, and then when it's raining, it's even better. You can get the reflections bouncing off the floor. It does look really, really good. I've got a few shots here that I'm really happy with. Haven't for a while, but yeah, great stop along the way, especially when you're 5 minutes from everything when you're in Soho, really. There's always some form of neon that you can find. This is going to sound odd, but for the most part, Soho is Soho. You can get a shot anywhere. New neons crop up all the time. You can use neons as a bit of a way to backlight your subjects. You can use neons just as neons. You don't need to have someone in the shot. There's tons of different things you can do. I'll show you a few favourites on the route towards Piccadilly Circus. Right, here's quite a nice one. You've got the door for backlighting. You've got the lights on the floor to lead your eye to the subject. And then just at the right moment, you capture someone walking through. It creates quite a nice little silhouette, especially in black and white. I think this scene will work quite well. Right, I don't know how well you can hear me, but this is right behind Piccadilly Circus itself, and as you can see, there is quite a good opportunity for a photo here. You just look at the ceiling, capture people's reflections, and it should be good. Or you can go to the side and use a double split reflection to enhance the scene as well. I've photographed here a few times, got a few different things from both angles. It works quite well, no matter how we do it. Especially when people walk through, there's spotlights, as you can see up there. There's a few, there's one there, and they're under each thing, and they project to the middle of the floor, and as people walk through it, they get lit up. So it highlights your subject as well, which is really quite beneficial. Nala is an old favourite of mine as well. Haven't been here in a while, but it does have those lanterns, and those lanterns have got me a nice shot before, back in the day. Do like the shot. It's better when there isn't scaffolding around it, but it's by the by. That won't be a permanent thing, so worth popping by, especially if you're by Piccadilly Circus or wandering through Soho. Right, we are now at Piccadilly Circus, and for the most part I don't actually photograph using the screens unless I'm doing like a long exposure, using the screens as a base and then photographing a bus or something coming past. What I do like to do though is photograph the stairways leading down into the station. I think there's just nice leading lines here and nice light, especially at night time with people walking down. Just think it works quite well as a little shot. There's tons of things you can get here. Again, if you like people and photographing the subject of a person rather than a scene, then this place will work for you as well. Again, using night shots and long exposures is also really popular here. But for me, it's all about these staircases. And that window there was pretty cool. You see how reflective it is? I tried to photograph just now the little tourist shack, and it looks quite nice with a bunch of different colours attached to it. So, yeah. And here we are. So at the far end of the Mall, you have these stairs. And I photographed these stairs quite a bit, purely for the fact that they are all lit from beneath, which creates some quite nice silhouette perspectives when people are walking up them. I really like it. I've got one of my favourite shots of all time here, of someone just sitting on the stairs and me framing them underneath the light. It looks really nice. Right, that is me done. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful for those looking for spots and trying to take inspiration from my route on what I do around London. This was a long old walk, 40,000 steps today. So if you don't do it all in a day, don't feel bad. That's a lot of walking, but I promise you it'll get you results. You're going from one side of the city to the other, and you're experiencing it in all different environments. So it is a good walk. It is tried and tested by me since 2020. If you know of any other spots, there are others, but this is my usual route. Let everyone know down in the comments. Let people know what you tend to photograph. Canary Wharf's a prime example. I go there quite a bit as well, but it's out of the way. You can't exactly walk to it. So this was all one big route. Hope it was helpful. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.